Welcome to the Give for Grouse podcast, dedicated to giving the ruffed grouse a voice by promoting sound wildlife management, advocating for forest health, and championing all things conservation. Now let's get to the show with Cody Altizer and Eric Long. As the opening monologue stated, this is the Give for Grouse podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Eric Long. Over to my left, flew in all the way from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Mr. Cody Altizer. Cody, how's it feel to be in the great state Ohio?
Feels good. I do like it up here. I always pick about it being cold and dark and gray. It's not cold today, but it is indeed dark and gray. So 2 out of 3.
The grass is somewhat green and the girls are somewhat gray.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always say in Virginia. The grass is green and the girls are pretty. And today in Ohio, I feel like the grass is kind of green. The girls are kind of pretty.
There's a lot of weeds.
It ain't bad. You guys are doing the best. You're doing what you can with what you have where you are.
That's right. But no, so we thought we'd do something a little different this go around. It's kind of like maybe a bonus type of podcast, bonus track, if you will. We have no guest. We do have a bucket list of people that we do want to have on, will have on. But we thought since we were together, we'd make hay and just do one ourselves. Gives everybody an update on where we're at, what we're doing, what the future plans are. Talk about some of the guests that we have had on. And one thing that Cody and I were actually just discussing just a couple minutes ago, that's if you have an idea for, I mean, we do have people that we want to have on, we'll have on. But if you guys have any ideas of your own that you'd like to have, like to listen to, give us a shout. DM us and suggest a person, or if you have the contact information, we will get a hold of them. And obviously referencing ruffed grouse and or woodcock, if you will, and forest ecology, forestry, etc. Anybody that you would like to listen to, please DM us.
Truly, it is helpful because podcasting, it's sometimes we've been a month ahead of the game. And we've recorded like 3 episodes in 3 days, which gets us 3 weeks ahead.
Yeah, we were rocking.
But it's tough sometimes to line up 3 people's schedules. So sometimes you're way ahead of the game, and then sometimes you are not. Right now, we're still ahead of the game, but Eric and I are together right now, so we figured we would make good use of our time. And it's either this week, which I don't know when today's the 10th. I don't know when it'll air, but the episode, when this airs, it'll either be a bonus episode for you this week,
or it might be a filler,
or we're all you get. So be thankful you get at least something. We always make sure you have a little something.
That's for sure. But before we move on any further into what we wanted to talk about today, homework time, Mr. Cody Altizer.
We have a new homework item, which I think is very exciting.
It is exciting, actually.
Honestly, we should have done this a little bit ago, but we're doing it today. Our grouse chainsaw sticker, which is
killer.
It's been a hit. I need to go back. I don't know how many I've sent out for the reviews, which again, truly am appreciative and thankful for all the people that do that. I don't know. It's been a lot that I've sent out, but people love them.
They do.
It's just
We've
the
seen
coolest
them on
thing.
chainsaw helmets, back of vehicles and stuff like that. It's been pretty cool. Hey, we saw one on a whiskey bottle the other day.
We did. Yeah. So we should have got a picture of that.
I know. It was right in front of me too.
But so the grouse and the chainsaw sticker, which is it's not our logo, but it maybe should be. Maybe it should be our logo because what's that?
I don't like that.
You don't like it?
That is our main logo.
It represents all that we represent, the ruffed grouse and forest management. I think it's cool. All that to say, that sticker, everybody loves it. And we've gotten some messages about, are you going to put it on a T-shirt or are you going to sell T-shirts? And, I wear a shirt in some of the videos and people ask, when's it for sale? The answer to all that rambling is now. The T-shirts are now for sale.
Yes, look at that.
If you're familiar with the sticker, the logo is the same, ruffed grouse holding a chainsaw. Yep. In the unlikely event that you're zoomed in, this is Deer Hunter Project. Yours will say Give for Grouse. It'll say Give for Grouse on the bar. It'll have the grouse head logo on the fuel cap of the saw. Yeah. So it's super cool. The logo is the same as the sticker. Color of the shirt is gray. Yeah. And they are now for sale. All you need to do is let us know that you want one. Send us your address. Payment will be sent through Venmo. Send it to my Venmo, and we'll make all this easier for you on an Instagram post. And if you got questions, just message us. We'll get it all sorted. It's pretty easy. Yeah. Let us know what size you want. You get gray is the color for now, this first run. What size you want, send us the money. For the t-shirts are $25. Eric's wearing the hoodie. Hoodies are $30. Important information, the t-shirts run true to size. If you typically wear a large in t-shirts, order large. They run true to size. The hoodies run a little bit small. Mm-hmm. Typically, I wear a large in a hoodie, and I have a large in a hoodie, and it's a little snug. So order a size up. For the hoodies, order a size up. If you order size you typically order, it'll fit, but it'll be a little snug. For the hoodies, they're comfortable, they're warm, they just run a little tight. So for the hoodies, order a size up. T-shirts are $25, hoodies are $30, and truly, we think they're pretty cool for one, but we're in the red on all this. So you buying these shirts
buy the damn shirt.
You buying these shirts helps us cover the cost of the shirts and the cost of the logos, and it helps us break a little bit even on all this, and helps us play catch up, and helps again, we throw the sticker on your truck wherever, and wear this shirt out and about with pride.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it's my wife and I share the duties of the household, reference cooking, cleaning, etc. And I do a lot of the laundry, not all the time, obviously, but some of the time. And I tell you what, I wear this hoodie all the time, and the shirt, and both of them have not shrunk on me. And the hoodie is comfortable. It's not a heavy like a Carhartt, but it's not light and necessarily cheap. So it's held up really good. Mm-hmm. Again, keep you nice and warm, or, nice evening around a fire. That's for sure. But no, please, and again, leave the 5-star review, and you'll even get some stickers.
Yeah, that is always part of the process. Mm-hmm. I feel like we should always mention it, but I mean, we always should. But that giveaway is ongoing. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Screenshot it to us, send it to us to prove to us that you did it with your address. You get a free sticker.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, maybe we should do this.
What's that?
We'll save that for another go around.
Okay.
T-shirts for sale. T-shirts are $25. Hoodies are $30. Sticker giveaway is ongoing.
Yeah. Remember the sizes. T-shirt, same. Hoodie, might as well just go one up.
Order a size up.
Size up, just in case. But no, pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, it was funny. I was on vacation, and I had this very hoodie on, and this person that was on the boat going back from the island, she seen it, and I was like, oh boy, I'm gonna get an earful, because she wasn't. I judged a book by its cover. And I tried not to do that, but I did. And I thought she's going to scream at me. And she looked at me with her weird hair and said, I love that shirt. I was like, yeah, right? So, never know. But anyway, they are cool. They do get some comments, that's for sure.
Yeah.
In a positive sense. So.
For sure.
But anyway. So there's that. That's homework time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So Billboard is still up and running?
Still up and running.
Yes.
We are...
So close.
Close to about just shy of 90% of the way there. HabitatVA.org. It's interesting because we have the fundraising goal was $10K. We're at $8,800, $8,900. Yeah. The $10K goal was for a year's worth of the contract. We're putting up 2 billboards. Mm-hmm. The first run is almost over. We're about to put up the second design in the second location. So all that to say, basically each billboard costs $5,000.
Yeah.
So we are way ahead of the game. You know what I mean? We're 90% of the way there, but 50% of the way into the contract.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
So all that to say, the sooner the better, truly.
Yep.
Everybody who has donated, it has been very, I'm very appreciative and thankful and grateful that you take the time, and not just the billboard, but we need to do a better job of thanking everybody for listening and following. And
Couldn't agree more.
truly, because, Eric and I, we do all this stuff for Grouse, but Give for Grouse Initiative, it wouldn't exist without the people who support and like and follow and comment and generate the conversations and listen to the podcast. If it weren't for everybody who followed along, it'd just be Cody and Eric talking about grouse.
Cody and Eric.
Which,
remember that time about the grouse on the log?
which wouldn't be as much fun, and we wouldn't be moving the needle as we so often say the way that we are. So that is the truth. I mean, Eric and I are very passionate about grouse, and that kind of segues, I guess, into the episode.
Yeah.
But we're passionate about grouse and always have been the last several years. But the Give for Grouse Initiative, we've learned in was it November, December, January, February, March, 4 or 5 months we've been in existence, that people have really responded really well to what we're doing, which we kind of knew that going into it. That's part of why we created the Give for Grouse Initiative, is a lot of the content and stuff that we put out, a lot of the messaging in the years prior, we're like, hey, people love this stuff. So we're like, let's give them more. Since we started Give for Grouse, it's opened the doors to, not that we have a big audience, but a bigger audience. And everybody who follows along and listens, they have a similar passion for ruffed grouse and forest management that we do. So again, all that to say, if it weren't for the people who support us and listen and like and follow and all the things, you guys are the fuel that moves the Give for Grouse Initiative truck down the road. Eric and I are just driving and holding on tight.
Sometimes we let go of the wheel.
Yeah.
See what happens. No, that's well said, Cody. Yeah, we do need to do a better job in thanking people. I mean, we do it at the end of every podcast, but sometimes by that time it's just blah, 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 Charlie Brown's teacher talking. But no, yeah, I don't want to ruin anything that what you just said by repeating it. So that was well said. Yeah, thank you. And the billboard itself, it's just really cool. Sometimes I'll be driving down the road going, we have a billboard. I mean, how many people can say they have a billboard up about something they're passionate about? It's really cool.
It's cool.
It is neat.
Something to be proud of.
Oh, for sure.
For us and
for sure.
Our organization, and to all those who donated. We've gotten donations from back home, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, Illinois, California. I feel like I'm missing a state.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, there's one like a...
But anyway, California, whoever you are, appreciate it.
Right?
Georgia,
Cali.
got a great donation from a buddy of mine from high school from Georgia. Of course, there are grouse in Georgia. Illinois, there's no grouse in Illinois. All that to say, it's pretty cool that people care, and it's something to be proud of that you're like I said, we created that billboard and the whole campaign to support ruffed grouse and forest management, and your support of that support is something to be proud of.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it was $5 or whatever, obviously.
Yeah.
That is so cool that someone took money out of their own pocket for something that, hopefully we said something that resonated with you. That is really cool.
Truly.
You think about it. That is, someone taking money out of their means, especially in today's world. That is really cool about something that hopefully eventually, if you don't have a emotional connection with, by the time this ride is over, you will, know, and hopefully that ride just continues for a very long time. And that's what Cody and I's goal are. But anyway, moving on. So I'd like to talk about, we've had, this is number, I guess be kind of 15.
It will be in between 15 and 20.
15, somewhere between
Somewhere
15 and
there.
20. No, let's talk about some of our guests, man. It's just like we've had.
Who's your favorite? Ready? Go.
Oh my
Who's your
God.
least favorite?
Oh my God.
No, just kidding.
You got it. What was it?
Who do you like the most? Who did you not
Mary
like?
kill or whatever? I don't know. No, man, I tell you what, it is. It's been really cool. I just can't get over we've had this person on and that you're expecting this and then you get that and It's just the different personalities that we've had. But it's what's really cool is that even though every person's different, the end message is kind of the same. You know, there in the beginning, we asked everybody, like, what do you want from gift for grouse? And they just said, they didn't say anything about time or money or whatever. It was just keep doing what we are doing, and that is advocating for this bird, and kind of the same message. And it's really neat. We've had foresters on, we've had a guide from Virginia on, who's, man, I tell you what, he's up there. Oh, Wes.
Wes Hodges.
Yeah, Wes Hodges. I tell you what, that was an eye opener. That one. Let's talk about that one since we're just talking about Wes.
About Wes?
Yeah, that was
the episode.
Yeah, what really caught me is that this doom and gloom on the species and stuff like that, and we had Mark Wiley with the Division of Wildlife Ohio, and then we had Mike Dye from the state of Virginia, DNR, and it wasn't necessarily doom and gloom, but it was like the future's not very good continuing if we don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Then we had Wes on, who's boots on the ground, and he's seeing it.
Yeah.
And then him having a different opinion, which Cody and I'm not to I kind of knew that already, but it was in the back of your mind, like, could this be true that the data that is being sent out isn't necessarily the true data, because you set up those ARUs, you do drumming surveys, and only in certain areas you're not getting in. Is that data that's like the doom and gloom data, if you will, is it true?
Right.
And those state agencies, no fault to them, they can only do what they can, so do not blame them. But at the same time, it's like, man, you have someone like Wes, and hopefully we'll have others that are boots on the ground, that are in those places that you can't get to with dogs, and they're hunting and what have you, and the flush counts and stuff. And maybe it's not as bad, especially in the state of Virginia, right?
Yeah. Tell you what, it's interesting. Because I kind of thought the same. I mentioned it, I think, either on the podcast with Wes after the fact. You hear the reports and the data from just speaking to Virginia, the DWR, and I've always mentioned the last couple of years how I've had my eyes and ears open to grouse more, and not to diminish the research or the numbers, because data is data. But the more you get out and about, you're like, is it? And I think this should be a question everybody asks, whether if the data is good or bad, but is the data as good as they say, or is it as bad as they say? Because once I would get out kind of poking around, I would look at habitat and I'd say, well, that's pretty darn good. And then I see grouse and hear grouse and talk to people who are hearing them and seeing them, and it didn't seem as doom and gloom as I initially had thought. And then the conversation with Wes kind of reinforced that. But all that to say, what I think is interesting or important for us, and our conversation with Wes kind of triggered this thought for me, is speaking to Virginia, and not even just Virginia, the Allegheny Highlands, where I'm at, because grouse exist in Virginia from northern tip of the Shenandoah Valley. Anyway, the part of the Shenandoah Valley all the way down to Southwest Virginia coal country. But so I'm not familiar with all that. I can only speak to the few counties where I spend time. There are grouse out there, but for us, it's important to communicate both sides of the story, and part of that is, I think I don't want people to hear us say, well, there are more grouse than what we initially thought, and think all is good, because populations, I think, across the state, even locally, and then the counties that I'm talking about, are declining. So it's important to me to tell both sides of the story and not be doom and gloom and tell that side of the story to invoke fear or anything like that, but urgency. Yeah. You know what I mean? To take the situation seriously. On the other side of the coin, I've mentioned, we had Caleb Haynes on, forest restoration technician on a nature conservancy property. There's plenty of grouse up there, which is very exciting. There's a lot of grouse, and use those examples like that property and Wes's stories, and Wes too. I mean, he's seeing a lot of grouse, but he's also having to beat the bush to find the grouse that he is. They're not just, it's not like they're just hiding behind every tree. Yeah. All that to say, I think, for a species like grouse, it's important to tell both sides of the story, and talking about when grouse are doing really well, not use that as a tool to say that the work is finished and that all is good and that we can be comfortable. Where grouse are doing well and that where there is good habitat, use that as a vehicle to do more of that. But more importantly, I think on the other side of the coin, where grouse aren't doing very well and there's poor habitat, it's not doom and gloom. We don't want to create fear or negativity or pessimism, but to create urgency. Because I think with some groups, conservation organizations, I think with a species like grouse or maybe even quail in the Southeast, it's this push-pull in that if you're an organization that represents a declining species, a lot of your messaging is about help. We need your help. Yeah. Well, what if ruffed grouse come back and they're behind every tree? Then you lose membership dollars and you lose your mission. So all that to say, I don't know if I'm making much sense, but I don't want to, when we talk about how populations are declining, it's telling an honest side of the story to create some urgency and to advocate for change. And where they're doing well, use that as inspiration and as a catalyst to continue to do the work. Yeah. To say that where there is good habitat, we have good results. So don't want people to feel like we're stoking the fire with fear, and then all of a sudden the next day it's all sunshine and rainbows because I flushed 4 grouse on a walk. It's important to remember the grand scheme, landscape scale, that there's going to be pockets, even here in Ohio, where there are grouse are doing really well. Use those pockets as an example to spill out into the areas where they're not through fear, but through urgency. I don't know if any of that made sense, but that was kind of what I took away from Wes is like, he's seeing birds. That's reason for hope. Yeah. And don't get comfortable in hearing that, but
no, I needed his I needed his conversation. That's for sure. But, and another thing was been great, and I've said it on other conversations that we've had, it's like, what's our future in, forestry? And it's like, oh my God. And then here we go. We had Noah Smith. We've had Caleb, Jesse Owens. Owen, Jesse Owens, not the runner.
I was about to say.
He's not the runner, Jesse. My bad.
I'm looking out for you, Jesse.
Looking out for you, Jesse. Anyway, not the Olympian. But anyway, but we've had all these young guys on, and they're all going to be rock stars, Man, if Noah, come on now. Yeah. Everybody needs to go listen to Noah. And everybody needs to tune into his Instagram. He's got a biscuit. It's kind of like, was it the pizza challenge thing guy? Was it Dave Portney, whatever? What I'm talking about? Oh, Barstool does the pizza guy, that guy, Dave?
Oh, I think
the pizza review. That. Yeah, that's what Noah's doing. He's doing a little biscuit review, gas station biscuit review. Anyway, it's hilarious. But anyway, Noah, the future. I mean, he's rocking and rolling as a forester, making things, putting habitat on the ground, and what have you. And then you have Jesse, works. I mean, him and his wife are killing it. Doing a great job. And then we just had Caleb on from the Nature Conservancy, and it was like they're all younger people, and they are. Yeah. It's in good hands, man. They're not. I told each one of them is like, hey, do not not to be like a father or lecture you, but don't forget to fight, and fight meaning not physically, but just, don't be afraid to speak up and everything. And I really didn't think I needed to say that to him, but I wanted to anyway. Some really great people. We had John Keane on, another forester on the side. He's been around, he's seen everything,
Yeah.
and he gave a really cool perspective. That episode was like some of the issues that foresters kind of deal with in the forest industry. How foresters sometimes, or actually not the forester aspect of it, but the loggers, how they got the bad reputation, and how we need to correct those type of things. That was an eye opener as well. Yeah. I mean, who else, man?
I like all the foresters, and it wasn't an intentional decision to have so many young guys on.
No, that's what's funny about it, right?
It's I'm just kind of tapping into my network that, people who I've met the last few years, I was about to say they just so happen to be younger. I think a more accurate statement is that I just so happen to be getting older. Exactly. But yeah, it's funny because Jesse was always on my list from the get-go. I remember I was following him around Mark and Timber last fall, and his wife Mariah was out that day, and I think that's when I first told him about what we were doing. I was like, "You're on my list." Noah, same thing. Hadn't met Caleb here until recently, but yeah, it just so happens that a lot of our guests happen to be these younger foresters, and we've been, again, very fortunate because the old stretch stamp of approval. Not that, or Cody's would be a trying to think of a creative way for me to give my approval. Not that it means anything, but I have met some younger foresters who I don't trust and who I don't have to say I have bad things to say, and not that my opinion on them means anything, but I've met a few in that younger demographic where I'm like, yeah, sorry, like we don't align.
No.
You know what I mean? So all that to say, when we've somebody like Noah, Jesse, Caleb, younger guys in their 20s making management decisions, and I didn't think of this till just now. 3 of them landscape scale. You know what I mean? Noah as an independent consulting forester, and at least 4, maybe Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia, Tennessee, at least 4 different states.
Wow.
He's making good decisions for forests and wildlife on a landscape scale. Jesse, the same way in his working territory in Western Virginia. And then Caleb working on the Warm Springs Mountain Preserve, which is 7,000 acres, but then also doing burns for the Forest Service in the Allegheny Highlands and burning multiple thousands of acres. We have good foresters and stewards of forest management at a younger age doing good work on a landscape scale, which is, and there are plenty of bad apples we haven't run into, I'm sure, but the good ones that we have found, it, like you said, it's gives me reason for hope and optimism. And the cool thing about those 3, and again, not all 3 are, they may be an outlier, but all 3 of those align with you and I in that. I had lunch with Caleb the other day, and we're talking about grouse and golden wing warblers and wood thrush, and I learn birds from Jesse all the time. And Noah's a deer hunter and a grouse hunter, but he sees the forest through the lens of an ecologist and a naturalist, not just a consumer and a hunter point of view.
Yep. And then the Grand Poobah, we had a gentleman on, Ethan Tapper.
Ethan Tapper. Yeah.
Ethan Tapper. He has a book, How to Love a Forest.
Yeah.
Man, what do you say about Ethan? I mean, it's funny. We kind of had him on our bucket list of things or people to talk to. That is, and all of a sudden, bam! Cody goes, "Hey, we're having Ethan on." It's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And then got to read his book. Cody read his book. I listened to his book, so I do a lot of driving, and it was a roller coaster ride of emotions throughout the story. And then we had him on, and man, what a deep philosophical person. Made you think. And man, highly recommend everyone read his book or listen to his book. Follow him on Instagram and social media. But He's a really good forester, as far as we know. Just as, we don't know him personally or anything like that, but just, based on his work, through his writings and stuff like that. But no, it's having him on. Definitely listen to that podcast when it comes out. Man, he had a lot of good things to say. Like Wes, he opened my eyes to a different type of thinking. And one thing I'm going to spoil alert, it's like how and it's very simplistic, but it made me think it's like how we need to define what a forest is. Here we are thinking just trees, and it's far from that. Mm-hmm. That's like, you want to, like, let's not do this, not do that, but it affects the whole, from things underneath your feet all the way up to the sky, what a forest actually is defined as. And when you don't manage that forest, how things, again, from under your feet all the way up to the sky is affected because of whatever emotion or feeling that you're feeling. Mm-hmm. You are affecting something, whether, again, you can see it or you can not see it. You're affecting it by not doing the right thing, by managing for a healthy forest. Yeah. So that is what I got away from, or taken away from, for Ethan, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a very good communicator.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And like I said, at the end of that episode, I love communication, and there's a lot of people who do it. You can be a good communicator a lot of different ways. There's no set in stone way to be a good communicator. There's some people who speak slowly and softly, and you hang on to every single word they say. And there's some people who talk a mile a minute, and by the end of it, you are just enamored by everything that they say. That's what I took away, and it makes sense that he would be, because he's such a good writer. But just listening to it's such an underrated skill to be able to take the thoughts in your head and then so effectively and articulate or communicate them so well. I think communication, not to make it an episode about the foundation of communication, I think we're all good. I think people overthink communication because it's literally just saying, I think people hear, what does it mean to be a good communicator? I think people hear that and they think it means you have to be able to deliver these long, eloquent monologues and speeches and have a strong vocabulary. It's none of that. Being a good communicator is being able to take the thoughts inside your head, verbally express them in a way that the other person understands what you're thinking and how you feel. And that can be done, like I said, in a lot of different ways. What I took away from Ethan, and we talked about it in the episode, was his book was everybody can relate to it, no matter what background you come from, whether you're fifth generation timber cutter or you're a non-consumptive birder and naturalist who the idea of shooting an animal or cutting a tree down makes you feel uncomfortable. Everything everything he wrote about in that book, somebody, no matter what background you come from, you can relate to. And that is the mark of a very effective communicator, for one. Number two, from Ethan, that I appreciate that he said, and it's in his book, and we talked a little bit about it in the episode, was it really comes down to the preservationist versus conservationist / active forest management mindset. And that I think it's a bigger act of negligence to do nothing than it is to do something. Yeah. People think, forest management is a lot of different things. It's prescribed fire. It's just cutting unhealthy trees. It's cutting a lot of healthy trees. It's killing invasive species. It's a lot of forest management. There's a lot of tools in that toolbox, but forest management it's an active type of management. Otherwise, you're just preserving.
Yeah,
and not doing anything. Mm-hmm. People think that we're at a time now where you can just leave forests alone and that that they could self-regulate themselves. And fortunately or unfortunately, there was a time when they could. Yeah. They didn't need human intervention. Mm-hmm. we are at a time now that habitats are so fragmented. There's so many invasive species and pathogens and high deer densities, and our forests have so many obstacles to overcome. And this isn't to diminish what forests are capable of, but they need management from the right conservationists and the right people. And I think, people think that we can just leave them alone and nature will take its course. And Ethan, in his book and in the podcast, was like, no, maybe in 200 years ago, Mother Nature could regulate herself. I think if we're honest with ourselves, maybe we would live in a world today where that still is the case, but we are very, very far from it. Forests and the wildlife that call those forests home, they need active forest management. So you're doing more harm than good to the forests and the animals that live in them by doing nothing versus a timber harvest or a fire or whatever that type of forest management may entail.
So, Ethan, it's funny because when we got done talking to Ethan, I remember saying something to Cody afterwards. It was like, I think I'm a good communicator, but it's like after listening to that, I'm not. You put me in front of a crowd, with a seminar, and I can kill it. Let me ask you this, Cody. I got to thinking about that listening to you. I know who the people like. There's 3 people in my life that I don't imitate. I seek for guidance, if you will, on my communication. So I'm going to ask you, I'll tell you what mine are, while you think of who yours are. Mine's 3 people. Ronald Reagan, for the confidence. So you believe me, because he had the ability just to tell you the bombs are in the middle of the air, but everything's going to be okay. Glenn Beck is another communicator that I just like. When he's not on, I can't listen to anybody else because he grabs a hold of me, and he's such a good communicator. And the last one, believe it or not, is Billy Graham, because of the passion. Because I had like the self-diagnosed ADHD, every disorder that you can't sit still, not pay attention to, and he's the only pastor, any preacher that I can. As soon as he opens his mouth, let's turn to Luke, the 17th chapter. It's like, I'm right there. So confidence, delivery, and passion. 3 people in my life that I absorb. I listen to all 3 of them all the time. Like when I'm getting ready for a talk, I'll pop in Billy. I'll YouTube Reagan and just get that pep talk, or listen to. I write down timetables when Glenn was talking, put the politics aside, but just his delivery. So those are my people that I lean to, and communication skills, if you will. What say you?
You're asking my 3 favorite.
Just
3 favorite communicators.
I mean, it could just be one. It could be Eric Long. It's okay to say that.
I don't know. That's a tough question to be asked to try to come up with an answer off the top of my head. I can't think of the people, anybody specifically right off the top of my head. Honestly, one that comes to mind is Kobe Bryant. I would remember, I used to, and still do to this day, just to a lesser extent, I would watch his interviews just to hear what he said and how he said it. Right. I don't know if he's he's a good storyteller, but how he communicated. Always, he's a very smart person, for one. When you listen to somebody communicate in an interview setting, you get a small peek inside their mind, and how it works, and to learn a little bit more about them. But he always spoke very intentionally. That's how I'm going to answer the question, is things that I value in a communicator. Because that's one thing I do remember taking away from Kobe, is that everything he said was said with intention. So traits that and maybe this will spur some people that I can point to, but traits that I value in communication is intentionality. saying meaning what you say, and not to waste words, but to not coat what you're saying in fluff or BS or whatever. Yeah. And you don't have to be rude about it, but communicate directly. Yeah. So that's part of it, a direct communicator speaking with intention. For me, this is just a reflection of me and my personality. And it kind of goes back to the intentionality is somebody who communicates quietly. I don't like loud in anything in life. Don't like loud. Don't like obnoxious. I know a lot of people who are like that. I don't dislike the person, but the message isn't delivered to me personally as well as when somebody, does it. Not to say you don't have to speak quietly, but it kind of goes back to the delivery that it's.
No, you're killing me. Who is this? The suspense is.
Who's loud?
No, you said there's somebody that you were going to say who this person is other than Kobe.
Oh no, I said it may trigger somebody.
Oh, might trigger somebody.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody, okay. But I mean, I don't want to get too long-winded on that. But somebody who speaks with intention and it communicates directly, and I don't know if quietly is the right word. It kind of goes back to that, to being intentional, maybe. But
I figured Kobe would be on at least your top 5, and there's a reason why I asked this question, because. Ethan grabbed, like when you're listening to his book, you'll get caught up in some of his writing. You're like, oh man, I'm in it. Mm-hmm. And then when we talked to him, he was a very good communicator. Maybe a little bit different than the book itself, which he was. But a podcast is a podcast. There's some people like Cody in the beginning is like, man, hey. Thanks for listening to us. We kind of sometimes ramble on, we do this. We tried our best to be communicators on a podcast. Well, sometimes we might nail it. Sometimes we might just ramble and just fell out on our face. But the key thing is I listed 3 people that's their job. You listed somebody that was a basketball player that inspired you to be able to think and appreciate. Mm-hmm. So there's differences. So my point of the question was, whoever that person is to you, listen to them. Mm-hmm. So that way, when you're out and about, or you're at that family reunion, or you're at a function, you can dig deep when someone asks you about, or someone's debating against logging, for example, or hunting, or the deer populations, or baiting, or whatever topic of divisiveness is on everybody's tip of their tongue. You can find that Kobe Bryant, you can find that Ronald Reagan, and just be able to communicate. Talking regular amongst your friends or talking on a podcast is one thing, but when you're put in that spot, when you're put in front of a situation that people are looking to you to answer that question, find that inner Kobe, find that Ronald Reagan, find that Billy Graham, find that Glenn Beck or whoever. Sorry, I'm pounding on the table. Cody's yelling at me. But anyway, but you can. That's my point of it. Because you will be, the more you go into this and you start becoming, air quote, more into conservation, and that's our goal. You are going to be put in situations. We want you to be put in situations where you have to communicate the right words and how someone's going to believe you, who at least spurs a little debate against you in the sense of, you almost got me, keep talking. So that's what my point of that question was. Like, who find that person? I'm glad it was somebody different. I kind of knew that maybe Kobe, because you had like posters and stuff of him growing up and what have you. But no.
Well, it's a great question. 2 other things I thought of that, again, not 2 people, 2 things that make a good communicator. Storytelling, for one, and a story doesn't mean you tell a story. I woke up at 6 a.m. and the sky was blue and the sun was warm. But weaving in a story and emotion into what you're communicating and making it relatable is a big part of it. And curiosity is a big part of it, because, again, people think being a good communicator means always expressing. Being a good communicator is expressing how you feel and receiving what the other person has to say.
Yeah.
And to understand what the other person is expressing, you have to ask questions. So curiosity, I think, is an underrated trait of a good communicator. And thinking back to somebody that I do a lot of work for, and he is a very good communicator. He and I have very different communication styles, but he inundates you with questions. And I think that speaks to somebody's intelligence, their humility when they're asking questions about anything. Curiosity, I think, is it's a humble trait, personality trait, or whatever characteristic, because it implies that you want to know. Which if you're curious and you're asking a question, if you're asking a question, you're wanting to learn. If you want to learn, it implies that you do not know something. So asking questions is an act of humility because it implies that you don't know everything, yet you want the other person's perspective and to learn from them. So I've noticed that the guy I work for, his name's Matt Ward, not that anybody listen who will know who he is, but I've traveled the world with him. And, we spend a lot of time together, and I have caught on over the years how he not just asks questions, but asks intentional. That goes back to the intentionality. Asks intentional questions. Not, again, this is part of being a good communicator. Are the questions that you ask? It's like, did you have a good day today? The answer is yes or no. That's not a great question. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a question, but it's an inquisitive look into the other person. Not even tell me about your day. What was the best part of your day today? What was the worst part of your day today? The things that happened to you today, how did they make you feel?
Don't ask a yes or no type of question.
Don't ask, dig into the person. And it's, and to tie it back into what you're saying with somebody who's anti-logging or anti-this or wanting to learn more, asking questions with humility and being curious about the other person's perspective, it's disarming. Because let's take you and I, for example, right now. I am pro forest management, pro logging, and you are the opposite of all of that. No matter, let's just say that I'm at a presentation communicating all the benefits of that, and you're coming to me from a point of opposition. More than likely, well, it doesn't have to necessarily be how I was going to describe it. We are coming at it from opposing views. So either I'm going to be looking up at you, afraid of your perspective, or I'm going to be looking down at you, thinking my perspective is better than yours. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm looking up, or you're looking
down.
Exactly. We're not on a level playing field. Being curious and asking questions to learn why do you feel the way that you do is disarming. That brings us
down to the same level.
At eye level, and then
write that down.
Because we're eye level, we can better understand each other.
Yes.
To tie it all back into what we've learned throughout all this, we all want the same thing. Here in this situation, which I don't think is too far from the truth, Eric, the anti-logger.
That's right. Lorax.
You feel that way, well-intentioned, and you're probably, let's just, again, for conversation's sake, you're anti-logging because you love wildlife. Guess how I feel about wildlife. I love it.
Yeah.
We have something in common. We both want the same thing.
How easy is that?
Exactly. So that. I don't know how we got on
We just became best friends.
Yeah. I don't know how we got onto that whole tangent about communication, but it was worthwhile to talk about.
Yeah. And one thing too, moving on, is that it's funny, Cody and I, the beautiful thing about Get for Grouse, there's two guys that are coming to you that are not grouse biologists. We are not foresters. I have a background in wildlife management. Cody has learned through me. He's learned through other professionals and stuff like that. Okay. So we are learning with you. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I can put my ego on the shelf when it comes to this. And we're sitting there driving down the road the other day, and Cody had his theory, and we were bouncing off each other, and it got more exciting in the vehicle. And we're like this, and next thing you know, he's looking up on the phone, and we're like, we took this hypothesis and made it a theory, and then we convinced ourselves this is exactly what just happened in life. And it was funny because I looked over at him and I said, I love learning. Don't you? And we were like two little kids. Like, I just love learning. And that's what's great about this. You don't have to know about forestry, people. You don't have to know about a grouse. We are learning. We're going to try to have people on that are going to help us as well. So we're going to be learning together. Yeah. We don't already pre-know it and then just asking questions, already, yawning while someone's giving an example. No. When we're listening to somebody, we are listening to somebody, because I want to take that, like Ethan. I took his philosophical, Wesley. I'm sitting there listening to him going, oh, that's a different perspective. I'm listening to these young guys going, man, the future is bright. Things are great. They're on the right track. We've had a gentleman that's been in the business for a long time, and it's like he has a different perspective. And it's like, man, we're learning together. We're learning along the way, and it is exciting. And it's so funny. We're driving, like I said yesterday, it was like, I was thinking to myself, what a bunch of nerds. We're sitting there talking about the passenger pigeon, which I don't want to discuss that, because we want to do something with that. But we're sitting there thinking about the good old days and how we managed ground. And it was like, maybe this. No, it was that. And we were honest with each other. No, it's a horrible idea. No, that's not good. And it was like, oh my God, we come to this conclusion. And it was like, we love learning. And this is what's exciting. So stay with us, keep supporting us, and all that stuff. So, but moving on, things that are coming. I mean, we got some really cool stuff, and we want to share everything with you, but it's at that early stage where we don't want to say, hey, stay tuned for January or July 12th, and then July 12th doesn't happen. So we got some really great conservation possible days coming up that we're in the process of hopefully doing. We've got again, future podcasts. We're going to be doing more, maybe a little bit more short film type stuff, more social media type stuff. Help me out here, Cody.
No, people always ask us, like, what's your goal? What's your objective? What do you want to do? What's Give for Grouse Initiative about? I almost choke on my gum. And my answer is always the same. It's to do meaningful work for ruffed grouse in Appalachia. And we're 3, 4, 5 months into this now. And the further along we get into it, the closer we are, the more meaningful the work we will do, if that makes sense. And it takes the form of all those different things that you said. As we grow our network, as we get a stronger foundation, a stronger base, stronger legs underneath ourselves, we can do more meaningful work. We can facilitate some research. We can facilitate more habitat work. We can educate more by a lot of different ways. Video content, written content, the good old paper, which is... say dying, that's what we need to do. Buy more paper and just burn it. So we got to cut more trees. I don't know if I ever told you this. I travel a lot, not a whole lot. I mean, people travel more than I do, but I travel more than most. Whenever I'm at the airport using the restroom, I use the restroom, wash my hands. And there's always, the paper towel dispenser or the electric hand dryer. I am liberal. I am liberal with my. Let me stop. I am liberal. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk while you're interrupting. I am liberal with my use. I am liberal with my use of paper towels. I mean, I am pulling them out, and
they only give you like 4 inches of paper when you wave your hand 15 times in front of the damn thing.
I'm not shy about it. I pull, and I'm hoping, and I do it on purpose. A, dry my hands. B, one day I want somebody to say something about you're killing trees. And I'm like, well, by the way, My dad worked at a paper mill. My grandfather worked at a paper mill. My uncle logs. I live in a rural economy supported by logging, and I love the wildlife that rely on forest management to create their habitats that they call home. So all that to say, I'm not shy about using paper towels in airports to maybe use to open the door for a conversation in LAX one day.
So we were in Charlotte, North Carolina the other day at the airport in the bathroom. True story. I go over to wash my hands. My son's next to me, and we're washing our hands. I'm tired. I'm irritated, and I went to the blower to dry my hands off, and my son actually smacked my side and goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I go, "What?" He said, "There is more germs coming from that blower, because where do you think the air from the blower is coming from?" Okay, so you're wiping your clean hands from that, and he starts doing the paper towel thing, and I thought, well, dummy, that's like me going to IKEA to buy a table, when I should buy furniture from an Amish person or whatever. But yeah, no, they only give you like 4. I mean, you wave your hand, you look like an idiot waving, and finally it comes out. And it's like, okay, thanks for letting me dry my pinky off.
Yeah.
Just give it. Yeah, liberalize it.
Don't be shy about it. The more paper you use to dry your hands, the more trees we got to cut down to make more paper. The more trees we cut down, the better wildlife habitat we will have. The better wildlife habitat we will have, the more ruffed grouse we will have in Appalachia.
Yes, but...
we didn't even get to talk about grouse in this one. That bums me out.
Oh
it's
God.
April 10th. We are in the nearing or in the peak of the grouse rut.
Yeah, it's I tell you what, let me keep talking. I'm going to look that up real quick.
Peak breeding, you think?
Yeah, I'm going to look up the grouse data from last year's data here.
I've always wondered, and I don't know, maybe there's some research out there. I think that's unlikely, but maybe we'll get there at one point. I don't know if you could, like, to determine peak breeding for deer, pretty easy. Fetus measurements during the late season.
Chick measurement.
If you get enough data on when chicks hatch, I think you could. But I wonder if there is like whitetails where there's this tight window of 3 to. I would imagine it's not. They're totally different species, but it's got to be like peak breeding. I would imagine would have to be like within a week to 10 days.
Talking about being a grouse nerd here, I have my camera on a log, 365, 24/7, which would add up to 365.
What did you say?
365 days, 24/7. So I really didn't need to say 24/7. But anyway, I keep a daily log of if he's on the log or not. So, here in front of me, April 6th. He was there from 6:56 in the morning to 7:51. Came back later in the afternoon and drummed. But peak-wise, like today is April 10th that we recorded this. This bird didn't get on the log till 3 p.m., and he stayed on the log till 5. And I actually sat in the blind.
This is last year, by the way. Last year's data.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was last year. So not today. But anyway, so last year, but after that, it was like a light switch from April 11th, man. You could set your watch to it. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, the 22nd to the 28th. He was not on the log whatsoever. Then gets back on the log, 29th, 30th. Okay, so then after roughly that 3rd, 4th week in April, he starts like, I'm on the log for a couple of days and I'm gone. I'm on the log for a couple of days and I'm gone. And then it kind of just really peters out in the middle of May that he's there and he's not there.
That's
so
interesting.
we're right now on the peak schedule. Cody and I on April 10th went into the blind. He did drum, but why would he drum on a log that would be in front of us? No, sir, he did not.
It would be too
but
easy.
He was there. He's alive and well, and that is always a win. But we were asking ourselves, like, hey, it should be about time. And I thought, man, it's a little bit early yet. But, yeah, it's kind of here in the next couple days to a week, man. It should be really turning on in the peak drumming, at least in Appalachia, Ohio region. So get out there and listen to some birds thumping if you have birds to listen to thump.
Right.
Right.
It's really ramping up. That's interesting. I know you will do that every year.
Yeah.
That week, because again, some days, it's a camera on a log.
Yes.
And what we're learning is, and it's like, these birds have personalities.
Yes.
As we get more in front of more birds. But that little small data sample right there is interesting because, some days he's not on the log for, we don't know why. We got to ask him. But what jumps out to me is that week, April 22nd to April 28th of last year, no bird.
No bird.
Right. So like on May 3rd through the 13th, no bird. So all that to say, I've read, I think it was in the ACGRP, that there is a noticeable decline in drumming that corresponds with the hawk migration.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So is that, and I don't know the research, I don't know if it's just anecdotal, that over time people notice it, but it's, like a noticeable decline. And I don't want to speak incorrectly because I'm not sure the dates. And obviously it varies. You're way up here. I'm 6 hour, 4 or 5 hours south. So that will influence when hawks migrate through the area.
That could be.
But I would have to go back through, I don't know if it's the ACGRP or Gordon Gillian's book. I read somewhere that, drumming, as your data right there, even though it is a small sample size, suggests that from middle of March up until a certain point, and then it coincides with the hawk migration, it ramps up. And then there is a noticeable decline.
Wow.
That could correspond with the hawk migration. Yeah. And then, of course, that migration, it's variable every year, influenced by a lot of different things. But after hawks migrate through, then drumming picks back up again. Your data literally suggests that. You started way back in February. March picks up, April ramps up and is peak. Late April for a week, no drumming. Picked back up for a week, April 29th through May 2nd, consistent drumming. May 3rd through the 13th. No bird. And then it kind of peters out from there, which makes sense in terms just of biology and that breeding season's petering out. So all that to say, I don't know, just fascinating, something to think about that. And if you watch it too, we talk about watching these birds on a log. They don't miss a darn thing.
They don't.
When they're on the log, number one predator, as we have discussed, are avian predators, hawks and owls. You sit and you watch grouse on, as I've said, and we'll say many more times, observation is our greatest gift. Hunters, naturalists, whatever the case may be. And with grouse, you don't get that opportunity unless you sit in a blind and watch them on a log. If you sit and watch grouse on a log, he is looking up maybe at least every minute.
Oh, he's looking.
And they don't miss much.
They're not missing anything.
I'll be sitting there and I'm thinking of one I'm filming this spring, and a blue jay up in the canopy called, and he looks up. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed sometimes, I don't know what bird it was. I imagine a crow. The sun was high in the sky. I see a shadow of a bird on the forest floor. And I think it was a crow because I think I heard it call, but like he watched it across the sky. So all that to say, they're smart birds. That's another thing I've learned, that we talk about the species. I think as a species, they are very fragile. Data suggests that. We were talking about it earlier. Recruitment is a chick. If a hen has 10 chicks, one more is going to see its first fall. So as a species, they're very fragile, but the individuals are tough. They are tougher than what we give them credit for, and they are smarter than what we give them credit for. Yeah. So if hawks are flying across the sky, the bird is smart enough to realize, hey, I'm out for a little bit. She can wait. Yeah.
Susie, I will see you in a week.
See you in a week.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. That is so cool. That's like being nerdy, man. I just love that stuff. And this is an example of Cody and I bouncing ideas off each other that, every time we're together, even talking on the phone. That's really cool. Nerd stuff.
I got a lot. Well, I haven't told you this. Maybe when you come down at the end of this month, early May, I want us to do an episode where we kind of talk about filming grouse.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been at it and you've been at it unfortunately don't have the flexibility with time as I have, but I plan to have many more mornings filming than I have had so far. Pretty much the entire month of April, as much as I can.
Yeah.
When we get together again into April, early May, basically talk about filming grouse and some of the things that we've learned as a result of being so close to grouse.
Yeah,
Because I got a lot of that I have learned a lot. I've basically been filming these same grouse for about the last week.
Yeah.
And I could do an entire episode right now of, again, is it coincidence? Is it causation? He's doing this. Why? Is it a coincidence? But not all of it can be. They're smart birds. They're wild animals. They don't do things haphazardly. So that's an episode to look forward to, is to share what we've learned and some stories, because I got some funny stories about sitting and watching them and stuff. But, we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to sit so closely to these birds and to spend so much time with them. And I think it'd be a worthwhile episode to share the stories and share what we've learned.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But to kind of tee off on that, wrap this up a little bit. But as Cody mentioned in the beginning, thank you. Can't thank you enough for listening to us, following us. We do have a lot of good things coming down the pike. And it's going to be a fun ride, man. We got, like I said, a lot of this stuff that it actually comes to fruition. It's going to be great. Man, you're going to be proud of what we're doing, because we're going to be proud of what we're doing. And I can't wait. I wish we could fast forward. I don't want to fast forward my life away, but at the same time, man, I can't wait to get to where our goal is and what have you with all that. But stay tuned, stay listening. Got anything else to add? No?
I'm with you there. There's a quote Kobe said at one time: "The journey is the destination." Talk about wishing away time. A lot of good things to come, obviously, but you can't wish away time. And like this morning, we didn't see the grouse, and it's always frustrating when you don't.
Yeah.
But that's how God wrote it today.
Yeah.
When you talk about, big picture thing, he's writing a book. Us not seeing the grouse this morning wasn't even a page. Like, today is a page. Yeah. Our life is the book. Today is a page. Us not seeing the grouse this morning was a paragraph. Right. So you got to look at the big picture.
Look at Cody.
And one of my favorite quotes that I remind myself of with the work that we're doing is, I don't have it in front of me, but in so many words, a river doesn't cut through rock, through force, but through persistence. It's an everyday grind. Every day. I don't like the word grind. I like rhythm. I like the word rhythm, but it's an everyday hustle, an everyday thing that you got to wake up. And some days, like today, not seeing the grouse, you're like, oh man, it's a bummer. And it is 100%. But looking at the big scope of things, good things are always happening. The needle is always moving. The trajectory, in my opinion, is always up.
To make light of some of the deer hunting influencers, we do know about the grind. Cody and I do know about the grind. Getting up at 4:00 in the morning, driving. We drove an hour this morning. Trying to get in there in the dark, almost getting lost again. That's a story to tell for another day. Anyway, so it's like, we were kind of joking about it. Rutcation and the grind. We know about the grind. I tell you,
I'll save a lot of so much of my thoughts about this for the other episode. But this year, again, I filmed grouse for 2 years ago, but you got just a small sample size. This year, very, very fortunate to have access to some birds, and I could do it every morning and every afternoon. I have learned in the first week of filming them this year, this filming grouse in April is equal to hunting deer in November for me. Right. The whole world melts away. It's all I want to do. I could do it every single day. But last year, again, I don't, not to pick on people who call it a grind. It is what it is. I always call, like, deer season come the rut, like not a grind, but the rut rhythm. Because I get in such a rhythm, like a rhythm, a routine. I never get tired. I just want to keep doing it. The more I do it, the more I want to do it. But it's the same right now for filming grouse in April during the spring, but I don't know what to call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like for deer hunting, it's the rut rhythm. For spring, if you got any ideas, let us know. Grouse. I like alliteration, so keep that in mind as a theme. The grouse, grouse, something.
Yeah.
I don't know, something to think about.
Yeah, we put a question out, referenced the grouse, naming the grouse, and we had some really great people, some ideas. It was
I didn't
great.
chime in. I was going to suggest Albert. Because it's an Ohio bird. I was going to call him Albert because the Florida Gators mascot's name is Albert the alligator. And the University of Florida,
I'm sorry,
in terms of national championship games played against the Ohio State.
Back in like 75. You know, that's a good while. It was a good run while you had it.
No, I'm talking about, that's the thing. As a program, Ohio State, head and shoulder. I have no argument. The only argument that I have, and it is a strong one, is when Florida and Ohio State play in bowl games and national championships, and we're undefeated. As a program, Ohio State's here. It's for people watching. Ohio State's here. Florida's a rung below. But when they play each other, football, 41-14. Basketball, I forget the score, but it wasn't close. Then even it was the year before Urban took over. We were both bad. We were both like 6-6, and we played in like the Gator Bowl. I think it was Braxton Miller was the quarter. Beat you even then when we were both bad. That's all I got. But it is a strong argument.
I can't argue. I'm being quiet.
Exactly.
I got you. Other than you suck. We're better. OHIO. Anyway, so no. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Keep following. Spread the message. Tell your friends about us.
Yeah.
Give us a 5-star review. Get some stickers. Check out the merch that's going to be coming. Again, this is just a starter pack. We will be $25 for shirts, $30 for hoodies. Remember about the size. Shirts are the same. Hoodies might as well go up a little bit. You're going to pack out some
order
You're
size
going to pack out some pounds, man. Anyway, so other than that, continue to pass the message on about the billboard. We're almost wrapped up with that. We kind of want to finish that up as well. So again, thank you. And have anybody that you'd like for us to have on, please send them our way. Other than that, as my grandpa always used to say,